Well, it's Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the year, and we're at the old Taco Bell. And welcome to COVID. We got, you know, people in line, not just cars, because you can't go inside anymore, which is silly. But anyway, I just wanted to end this video, I guess, where all of the videos started. The very first video on the channel was, or had, a taco from this Taco Bell. And this is a good Taco Bell. I'm not gonna comment on the fact that Taco Bell totally gutted their menu, and that makes me angry. But we're gonna get some tacos. All right, what do we have today? Something special. Oh, the big Subaru store, Gresham Subaru. We have a white 2021. Yeah, it's not even this year. In theory, this thing should be 100% terrible. First look. Sorry, it's pouring rain. The wheels are all right. I'm all right with them. Nice leather here. Let's get in. Oh yeah, let's shut the door. Look at the size of this touch screen. Ooh, it started up. I haven't even done anything. I guess it's keyless, so it knows I'm in it. We'll set that key there. Let's give her a start. Yeah, it's running. Wipers are on full kill. Let's turn the radio off. Drive safely and obey traffic rules. Well, yeah, that's pretty handy. This thing's super nice. Look at these seats. These are pretty nice. It's nice brown leather. These cars sound awful when they start. Pretty high idle too. That's just normal. But look at the mileage on this. 163.5 miles, averaging 19.1 miles per gallon. This is the Outback XT, so this is the turbo model, which should in theory fix the problem with the 2019 and olders that were just slow as all crap. So what we're going to do today is we're going to put this on the dyno, and just like I did with the Subaru Ascent video I did a little while ago, we have this brand new car. We're going to drive it up on the dyno with a whopping 160 miles on it, and we're going to put it through its paces. This is actually a Rallytech shop car, so this is a test bed, meaning I get to test stuff, and I like testing stuff. Oof. All right, well, the nice CVT transmission didn't want to pull all the way onto the dyno here. Yeah, obstacle detected. So getting it on the dyno, not as easy as one might hope. It's pissed off about stuff being in front of it. And let's see if we can turn all this off. Nope, the old ones had a button up here. Let's see, settings. Down. Camera, no. Climate, language, home screen, welcome screen. Anniversary list, that's fun. Remind you when you forgot to buy something. Free open source software information. Ooh. I don't know what any of that means. But I don't see, oh, that's general. Let's see, do we have a car? There we go, car. So this is one of the things that I have heard a complaint about with this car, is that there's just too much going on this touch screen that they put in. So we want to turn off collision braking. Yes, we're sure. I promise I won't crash it on the dyno. And let's see, lane departure off. Alright. Cruise control adaptive. Is it adaptive? I'm not sure. Select drive on left, drive on right. Oh, that's load vehicle. Position sound. Oh, it's got like for the adaptive cruise control. Okay, well, I think we're good on that. So eyesight is set. Driver monitoring, no. I don't want to mess with too much. Oh, when I did that it said welcome over here, but I can see that the collision detection and all that stuff is off, so that's what we were trying to do. One thing I did want to see, auto start stop. We're going to turn that off. Vehicle dynamics control, turn off. Ooh, that's all kinds of stuff turning off over here. What is BSD RCTA? Oh, blind spot detection. Yeah, get rid of that crap. We're just trying to run this thing on the dyno, and we don't want it to be all mad. X mode, responsive. Okay, that's all good. Oh, we're good now. All right, so I'm gonna try to put it on the dyno one more time here. Actually, let me see how close I was. Yeah, I gotta come forward a little bit more. Actually gonna put it in neutral with the brake on and see if I need to just spread the dyno out a little bit. That's just condensation. It's super wet out here right now, so I need to spread it just a little bit. I promise that's not a blown head gasket. I haven't even driven this thing hard yet. That'd be pretty funny. Hi, Subaru. All right, so parking brake off. One thing I wanted to check, I want to see if when I drive it, if I open the door, if it stops the car. You ready? Oh, look at that. I can drive it with the door open. That's amazing. The last one I couldn't do this, or the Ascent I can't do this with. So the fact that I can is really nice, because then I can watch where my foot is while I pull it up here on the dyno. Oh yeah! What do we got in the bag? Oh. See, this is our new normal, eating tacos in the car. Good fun. Thanks 2020, you've been great. Actually, this year hasn't been as bad as some people might think. So let's pop the hood and see what we have. I just noticed, and I hadn't noticed this when I first. Once again, no hood strut. Where is it? Oh, it's up here. Hold on. Just gotta sit down the camera. Funny little backwards hood strut. That's fun. Alright, so we're back to this direct injected motor. This looks very similar, very reminiscent of the Ascent, as in it's the same thing. There might be some very small differences. Reinforced couplers, intake air box that's funneled from the bumper here. One thing I was just going to say is I did just notice this has a weird silver trim. So like this is silver, it's not white. I thought it was white like from an angle, but it's not, it's silver. Anyway, lots of seam sealer. Just in general, the build quality on new cars seems to be less and less about aesthetics under the hood. In fact, it seems like, for the most part, the dealers, the manufacturers don't care at all what the underhood looks like. I still like that they're keeping the oil filter up here with this nice little tray, so when you take it off, the oil doesn't spill anywhere. This has a nice big sandwich cooler on it as well. Really nice ducting, so there's no hood scoop. These are a slick hood, but it has a pretty decent little bulge. I don't know how well the contour of that's going to come across, but it is gathering air from this entire front opening, and you can see it's quite ducted here. So this entire area here is pulling air to go into these vents and then to the intercooler. So definitely a car that the hood needs to stay shut on in order for the intercooler to work properly. So we're going to try to get as much airflow as we can. Let's see what else. Mass airflow meter, air is going this direction down to the turbocharger, which is down below, just like the Ascent and just like the WRX. It's a little bit bigger motor than the WRX, but anyway, the exhaust goes down at the bottom, goes out that direction around the motor on the driver's side, not like the older Subarus where it was on the passenger side. We have a lot of electronics. Looks like this is the more likely the brake controller, ABS module, all that kind of stuff. Really small pulley on the alternator, very small, which means they're trying to run it at pretty high RPM, so they're expecting a lot of electrical load on these cars. Everything else looks pretty standard to these cars. Yeah, T-map sensor, so it's going to be a 4-wire. Yep, 4-wire, so it's got air intake temperature and manifold pressure in the same sensor, which is kind of nice. Electronically controlled throttle, no coupler between the intercooler and the throttle body, so they could put a bigger intercooler on it and fit it in the space, and then use this kind of nifty little boost clamp brace thing to hold it in place. There's an O-ring inside there. So very nice, very nicely done, Subaru. They've definitely learned some lessons. We have a plastic end tank. This is super cool. Plastic end tank on the bottom, so it won't get any heat. This is the cold side of the intercooler. The hot side of the intercooler has an aluminum end tank so that it's not going to burst or have issues with longevity. On the older ones, we saw plastic, and we'd see problems at the top, especially because of the back side where this charge pipe comes into the intercooler. There's it's a connection that can flex a little bit, which caused the intercoolers to separate right along this line. So it looks like they've done some work to try to fix that, which is great. I don't remember on the Ascent if it was plastic, but definitely cool that it's aluminum plastic here. Anything else under the hood? I don't think so. I need to hook up my boost reference so that the dyno knows how much boost we're making, if I can find one, and then we're going to do some pulls. In case anyone was wondering why we can't seem to stop the spread of COVID, I ordered a cheesy, delicious nacho fries plate, and there's no fork. So I've got little finger food and it's sloppy and goopy, and I don't have a fork. Come on, Taco Bell, get with it. Put a fork in the bag. Help, do your part. Do your civic duty, Taco Bell, to make sure that we don't, you know, lick our fingers, which I'm gonna do anyway. Probably die. But you know, I'm a mechanic. I've licked worse things. One thing I did want to mention that was a slight concern of mine, this car only has 150 miles on it, and the engine bay is already really dirty. You can see how much dirt is coming in. See if we can get some detail of that. And how much just dirt, and it's been pouring rain the whole time, and we've had it for a day, 2 days, but I don't really feel like there should be that much dirt in the engine bay in 120 miles, you know. So anyway, that's my only kind of, like, this hood seal is just not cutting it. Maybe it doesn't seal super great. I don't know. It's, yeah, don't know, but it does seem a little lackluster on the old dirt encroachment to the engine bay. And I mean, it's gonna get dirty. We drive these things off-road and product testing all the time, but it'd be nice if it didn't get this dirty this fast. Work on it, Subaru. 2022, fix it. Unfortunately, my boost reference didn't work, so I'm going to have to figure out if I can find a different spot for boost, what I'm going to do there. But yeah, pretty good pair. Dyno run, take 2. The last time the vacuum pickup that I had, the boost pickup, didn't work. I guess this isn't the bypass valve like I thought. It's something to do with the vacuum canister. I'll have to go dig into the service manual and see what that actually is. But there is a vacuum reference right off the bottom of the intake manifold. It's a pain in the butt to get to. It goes to this line and this check valve, so we're before the check valve. So we have vacuum here, and we have our air fuel, and we're gonna do another pull. We kick the fans on, and turn up the jams. So everything claims to still be off, but last time, even though I had turned it all off, the car had turned everything back on. So we'll see if we have all of our modes correctly turned off in a moment. Nope, traction control just turned back on. So let's go back to our menu. We'll come over here to car. Stop first, or why don't you do stuff? Go into park. Alright, eyesight, pre-collision braking off. I tried to do a pull without that being turned off, and as soon as I decided to floor it, it tried to hit the brakes on me, which is never good. Alright, eyesight monitor. I'm not clicking any of that. Alright, so let's come down here to vehicle dynamics control, off again. Auto start stop off. Now we should be good. Everything looks like it's off. All the lights are there. So let's try to do another pull. I'm gonna have to see if there's some way to default some of those settings to off, because like the auto start stop is just so annoying, and I'm not a fan at all. So we're in manual mode, first gear, second gear. Now keep in mind this is a CVT, which means it doesn't actually have gears. These are simulated. All right, third gear. This is the ratio that I like. It's about 82 RPMs per mile an hour, which is a pretty decent one. Oh, it's mad about my eyes. Hold on, I gotta, let me turn that off real quick. We're still in car. Let's come over here to eyesight. Yeah, I can turn off eyesight. Oh, wait. Driver monitor off. Alright, there we go. Alright, now it should let us hopefully do a pull without getting all mad. Alright, we're still in third gear. Come up to about 2,000 RPMs. And then we're going to start sampling and floor it. Looks like about 13, 14, almost 15 pounds of boost. Power looks pretty much identical to the last pull. So we're gonna let it wind down here. And then once we let it wind down, we're gonna do one more pull with a hot motor, see if we gain power or lose power. Back to first gear, so let's go. Second gear, third gear, come back down to about 2,000, and floor it. So, the boost comes in super soft. Looks like we may have gained a horsepower or two on that pull, so we'll go take a look. Let's coast this thing back down and then go take a look at the dyno graphs. So here it is. This was our last two pulls. They were slightly better than the first one, but the second pull was the best. 226.32 and 240 torque. So we're going to go ahead and clear off this other one here. So here we are. You can see power is pretty, so the torque is super flat. The torque is this top line here. So the top line is torque, the bottom line is horsepower. And you can see the torque comes up very quickly to 235, 240 foot-pounds and holds that really nice and flat, clear out till about 5,200 RPM. So from 2,500 to 5,200, we have a very flat torque curve. The boost level starts out, sorry, my broken screen, about 13 pounds, just shy, and then it peaks right here at about 14.5 pounds, and then it drops back off towards red line to about 11. So the boost is, it's not as low as I was expecting. I was figuring it would be 10-12 pounds, but 14.5 pounds is a decent amount of boost for a Subaru out of the factory. Air fuel ratio, mid-11s, not super overly rich, which is nice. Up top it does dip down into the 10s, which is to be expected with the way Subaru tunes stuff, so make the graph nice and thick for you, easier to see. Anyway, graph looks good, decent amount of power. I'm not sure what these are rated at. Let's Google that real quick. ...2021, so they're rated at 260 to the flywheel. So 260, if we're putting down at the actual tire, 226. That's a pretty good for, especially for a CVT. Let's see where we are on the old calculator there. Oops, divided by 260. So we're only about 13% out on drivetrain loss according to this calculation. It is a nice cool day, pretty high. We've got 64 degrees, 40% humidity, really good atmospheric pressure. So, and we have a car that is super brand new. Anyway, pretty good numbers. I was expecting less, so excited that it made that much. Let's take another quick look at this car. Not a bad looking car. Looks about the same as the last one. There's very, very, very minor differences in the aesthetics of the 2021 versus the 18, 19, and 20. In fact, so minor, I'm not even sure what they are, other than it has a silver mirror. Symmetrical all-wheel drive. I love how they still tout that as something cool. Outback Touring XT. Pretty spiffy car. It's gonna be fun to see where we go with this one. So here's a fun little overlay. I have the 2020 Ascent, its stock tune, made a little bit less power. You can see about 12 less horsepower, but made a tiny bit more torque, and you can see the Ascent brought in the torque just a little bit sooner, but then it didn't quite make the power up top. And unfortunately I didn't have boost logged on that one, but you can see it went quite a bit richer, clear down into the low 10s early on, which is probably where that power loss is. So I'm guessing because the Ascent is heavier, they decided at the factory to run it a little bit richer so that it would cool things a little bit more. And the Outback being slightly lighter, they have decided to lean out a little bit, or maybe it has to do with emissions or something else. But just kind of a cool little thing to compare. All right, everybody, that's what I have for you today. Have a safe and happy new year, and hopefully 2020 brings us a little bit less crazy and a little bit more, or maybe more crazy. I don't know, where can we go? So yeah, just happy new year, everyone. And there it is once again, 2021 Subaru Outback, totally stock, won't be for long.